So this is just a closer look at some places I'd already featured. Like this place. I have no idea who owned it, who milked here. The people live in the house. They don't know either. I just remember the barn sitting here. It was a tall, narrow-shaped barn built around an older barn that had been raised, but it was an L-shaped parlor. They can milk 15 here where I'm at, and 15 down the other side. You can still see the feeder, see the gutter where the cows stood to get milked. It was just an interesting barn. That's where the old part used to stand, and they raised it. But it wasn't used for cows, it was used for hay. I think they could drive their tractors into the far end. That old silo, it was a wooden one, now it's a cement one, built on the same footing. And this was the Honkoop farm. This parlor was built in the late 70s, about 77, 78. I went to school with their son. The old man was well into his 70s, wanted to retire, and his kid wasn't capable of running the farm. So they sold the place. Now it's owned by foreigners, and they just want the land for the crops. So the barn falls in, goes to waste. That's looking into the milk house and through it into the parlor. So this place was kind of interesting because it had a series of little bitty sheds that would remind you of the old style chicken farms. There's 4 of them in a row here. I'm walking through one of them where the slab where one sat, just to look into the old holding pen. See, they would run the cows in there. They'd wait to go up the ramp into the parlor to milk. Now there was a building here, but beyond that curb was a second building, and that was the original flat barn that he started out in, probably in the mid-60s. But it's all gone now. I don't remember who farmed this place. I believe it was a Lautenbach's, but don't sue me if I'm wrong. But they did go out of business about 77, 78. Barn sat empty for a while, and some guy bought it to raise heifers in. So they gutted it out and turned it into a bunch of stalls, and that just weakened it. Now again, it's owned by East Indians, berry farmers, so the barn will fall in. They don't need the barn. Now this is a special parlor. This parlor was built by a man named Hugh McMurray. I'm named after his son, Stephen McMurray. I didn't have internet back then, but Hugh heard that there was some new technology coming out of the East, so he started writing letters. And they sent him plans and pictures, and he built his own parlor. That there's called manure chute. You scrape the manure up this ramp into the manure spreader. And that spreader's probably sat there since 75 when Hugh walked off the farm. Gave the whole place over to his wife. Said he was done farming. He went to Seattle, joined a commune. I was 9 when he died of cancer. He was a very intelligent man and a good man. He was like a second grandpa slash buddy. Loved kids, loved his cows, loved life. So that barn there, that's where he originally milked. It was a flat barn, but they've turned all that into an apartment now. I haven't walked these grounds since I was 3 years old. Yeah, I used to hang out in the barn with him when his wife babysat me. Where their camper is sitting, that's where the milk house was. You can see the pad with the hot water heater there. This would have been looking in to the parlor from the milk house. Milk tank would have sat right there. I don't remember much about this place, but I do remember the parlor. I remember playing in it. This guy, he didn't want me to say anything about his name or where he's at, but I wanted to take pictures of his barn. Little bitty milk house tells you that it was a can barn. But this is what happens when you don't have good footing under your barn. They put all the weight on the low side. The barn just fell over. It's too bad because it's a beautiful barn. Big old barn. But it's done. Now this is the Beeley farm. Had a double 8 herringbone. They milked just shy of 300 cows. They milked here in '84. And even then, by that day's standards, it was antiquated. The little windows would have been in the parlor, looking into the parlor. That window and that door would have been going into the milk house. It's built in front of the original barn, which is well over 100 years old. An old feeder barn. East Indians are berry farming it. It costs more to tear down the barn than it's worth, so they just let it fall in. They're not interested in the barns. It was a nice farm though, Dairy Merit.